Here today to show you a retro Polaroid look with your pictures using Photoshop. There are a lot of tutorials out there on how to do it. I've seen them, and they're just not too great in my opinion. They're just kind of amateur. They just do a curves layer and leave it at that, and say, boom, Polaroid look. But it's not that great. I'll show you what I know, and you can take bits and pieces, or you can just bite my whole style. Whatever you want to do. But we'll get started here. Duplicate your background layer. Do this to every picture just because it helps it out. And then go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Do a radius of 3.5 pixels and hit OK. Go down to your blending mode and do Overlay. And it kind of sharpens it up a little bit. It helps it out. Merge layers. Duplicate this one again. Oops. Oh well. Awesome. And first off, we're going to do a solid color under adjustments, the little black and white circle here. Solid color. Shoot for a dark blue. That'll work. If you want, you can pause the video and look in here and see what the hex code is for it, and you can just take that. That way you can have the exact color. Now that you have that, go to your blending mode and change it to exclusion, which is right here. And as you can see, it really dulled out the picture, but don't worry about that. We'll bring it back. Pull this down a little bit to about 80%. We're going to do another adjustment layer, and we'll do, there we go, brightness and contrast. Pump up the brightness about to 20, pump up the contrast to about, no, not that high, to about 30 or 29. Then also do a curves adjustment, and this is where you'll see the changes start to take effect. These guys right here, this right here is your highlights. Down here, these are your shadows. On the reds, we're going to pump up the highlights, pull back the shadows, give a little bit of color to the Golden Gate Bridge. Same thing on the green, pump up the highlights, pull back on the shadows. And then for the blues, we're going to, let's see what happens if we do it this way. We'll go ahead and, yeah, there you go. Pull back on the highlights and pump up on the shadows. So you can already start to see that it's taken effect here. But we're not done yet. Let's see if there's anything else we missed. Oh, we'll do another solid color on top of all those. Aim for a brown. No, that's a little bit too green. Shh. And again, if you want, oops. Again, if you want, you can just take the hex code and throw it in your Photoshop. Change this to soft light, and you can see it kind of. Oh, let's see if it looks like an overlay. Yeah. At least for this picture, we'll do overlay. Each picture is going to be different. I'm not saying this exact effect and this exact color sequence is going to look good on every picture, but I mean, play around a little bit. Don't go too crazy though. Now that we have those, we're going to select them all and hit Command G, or you can click on this little folder down here to group them and just rename it Vintage. I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts because it saves a lot of time, if you haven't been able to tell. We're going to, you can leave it at this if you want it. I like to go a little bit above and beyond, so we'll do that just for the video. Make another layer, edit, fill, 50% gray. Okay. And duplicate this layer about 4 times. You may use all of them, you may not, but just that way you have them. Change it to, we'll keep it on normal. Then go up here to filter, noise, add noise. I try to, for the first one, I use about 20%. Make sure it's Gaussian, make sure it's monochromatic, because if it's not, it gives it that gross look. We don't want that. Hit OK. Now we're going to go over here to filter, the blur, Gaussian blur. Do about 1 pixel. And then you're going to do a levels adjustment. You can do it under image levels up here, but I just press Command L. But I thought I'd just show you. Pull the black slider in closer to the little mountain, I guess you could say, and the white slider in. Actually, pull them in a little bit more. And this gray slider in the middle, this is where it starts to make things happen. Pull it up, or push it up closer to the white slider, so that way you can see the little white specks over here. Start to not be as many of them. And that'll work right there. Guess that doesn't matter. Okay, do that, and then we're gonna go down here and change the blend mode to screen. You don't have to do this. I do this, but it adds little white specks all over your photo. A lot of times in order to do it, I dial back the opacity so they're not as crazy. Do like 50%. Then on this one of these other layers, you can do the same thing. Filter, noise, add noise. And if you want, you can get crazy and go up to like 45, 47%. Still keep these two the same though. Hit OK. Change the blend mode to overlay. And then pull back the opacity on it. Then we're going to take our other gray layer, change it to soft light. Again, filter. You're going to do lens correction. I know I'm in Photoshop CS5. In other versions like CS4, they stick it under the distort panel. I mean, you're going to have to poke around and look. It should be in all of the newer Creative Suite versions. I don't know if it's in the legacy versions. Do lens correction, and then we're going to do custom. And you're going to take the vignette slider right here and do -100. Because if you do positive, it's white. You want the darker one. Hit OK. Now it adds a little bit of a vignette effect to your photo to draw your eyes in towards the center a little bit more. This was a big thing cheaper cameras always did, so it's a good thing to add that effect. And oh yeah, if you want, set this one to soft light. I do this on my pictures a lot, and it gives it a kind of realistic feel. You can add a reflection on it. I'll show you what I mean here. Go to filter, render, lens flare, and make sure you selected the 50 to 300. It'll normally start out on 100%, but you're gonna want to pull it up to about 189 or 200%. Drag it around to where you like it in this little preview panel. Hit OK, and see how it kind of adds a reflection to the photo. Makes it look pretty nifty. And we will group all these together so we can show you. Command G. I'll just do that just to be cool. Before, after, so you can see it really changed the picture, but kept the overall sharpness. You don't have to add as much noise as I did. That's what's in, Polaroid pictures, so. But yeah, thanks for watching.